Alright, next up we have Frontlines by Dex Arson. My understanding is that this is featured in Geometry Dash. Once again, everybody, this is a Basterd's LFA, a layman-friendly analysis. I'm a professionally trained musician, a composer, and my objective here is to explain things in a way so that you don't have to be one to understand what is happening here musically. So, if you like the sound of that, make sure you're following the channel, subscribe to the channel, whatever term you want to use, like the video, share the video, leave a comment, turn on notifications, become a member, one of them paid subscriptions, support this channel as much as you want, not at your own expense though. Two disclaimers. Number one, this is my first time hearing this track ever, so I will be pausing a lot, as I will be pointing things out as I hear them or as I realize them. And number two, this is recorded live on stream on a single take, so whatever happens, happens. I might stumble upon my words. Chat hands. With that being said, let's see what you got. Frontlines. What do we got here? Okay, so we got several we got several elements going on already. We start with this really cool like fading in synth, giving us that introduction to the first synth, giving us what I would like to call our motif. The motif, of course, being the smallest version of your musical idea, the seed, the essence from which everything else comes from, right? And it's being repeated. It's got this very, very cool rhythm going on. Jeppy, welcome today, man. How you doing? And we are getting a very high vocal, higher up, giving us some stingers, and the sound would, I think it's either a trombone or a tuba. I think it's a trombone. It could be a tuba. Or it could be both, because it's doing the whole boom thing, which is very, very common. What year is this from? 10 years ago. Yeah, this is when everybody wanted to do the Hans Zimmer thing for that kind of stuff. Extreme thinking for the $5. And yeah, we got this going. And welcome to Layman. Thank you so much. Let's see where this goes. And we have another synth on the other ear giving us, a quasi-call and response between both the trombone, the boom sound, and the motif. And it's giving us this sense of just bouncing back and forth, especially because it's panned to the right ear. So panning, let's explore this term, right? So the concept of panning in audio is when you prioritize one ear over the other. Nowadays, we use stereo as our standard for speakers, overwhelmingly in most systems, because, you know, human beings, two ears, left and right, most people's ears work, so we have speakers left and right, and then you have a listener, here you are, all happy, deformed, and bald, therefore evil. So, when it comes to panning, the way it works is that there are two tracks being played simultaneously. So every sound that you have is going to be divided into a left track and a right track. Darker, welcome today. How you doing? So the way it works is that if both of them are playing at full volume, it's just going to sound like it comes from the front. The sound is going to come from the front. The more you lower one of the ears, the further to the other side the sound is going to appear to be. All the way to, if you lower 100% on one ear, it's just going to sound like it comes entirely from the other, and that is panning. And no, the threshold is 10. The threshold is 10 now. Joao, welcome today. So we have that. So we're having this other synth that it's kind of funny because it kind of sounds like barks. It kind of sounds like barking. I'm doing fantastic. It kind of sounds like barking as a response to what the other rhythms are doing, and it is just, yeah, it's just funny. $10. You get points by watching the stream. So let's just see where it goes, because we're building this, but I like how this is filling up the rhythms with different elements, so you are getting this really cool dynamic of bouncing back and forth between the like 4 layers right now. It's pretty cool. It's pretty good. Let's see where it goes. Oh! There you go! There you go, look at that. I mean, yeah, most of us can jump and bounce. So, we have now introduced the drums, and Again, I am going to bring it up because I bring it up every time. So what we just had here is just a beautiful, beautiful example of how much drums can really change the feeling of what you're hearing. Jack, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the mosh pit. And I'm always going to bring this one up because the best example I have of drums and the rhythm section really changing how things sound is the intro to The Mirror by Dream Theater. The Mirror, yeah, I'm bringing up The Mirror because the guitar does the exact same thing for 1 minute and everybody else does something different. And that's what we were having. The main motif, the ostinato that we were having, ostinato, by the way, is when you repeat something over and over and over and over and over. And the ostinato is doing that. And now we brought the drums. And because we brought the drums, now it's just... it feels so like the motif just feels really different now because the drums are engaging in a little bit of what is called rhythmic displacement, which just means it is likely that the way that this was designed was that the motif was just a little bit off, but because we didn't have any real beat going on just yet. We couldn't feel it. And now we are getting the real beat. And now we can actually hear how it was all just ever so slightly displaced. And yeah. It just changes the connotations completely. Okay, Nico. Damn it. Alright, let's continue. No, Extreme. I'll explain after. Okay, so yeah, everything is staying pretty much the same, but it's... Yeah, everything stayed the same. We just added the drums. And we're adding this, like, the stereotypical build-up synth for electronic music. And this is just... This is nice. All right, let's see where it goes. Oh. Okay, so the motif is gone. The motif is like the ostinato is finally gone. We're giving the focus to one, this new rhythm that we brought with the bass drum and everything. The brass is doing its thing, disguised with the rest of the synths. And now that rhythm, that secondary rhythm that we have now takes the front stage. A pretty cool way of developing the material. And yeah, let's see where it goes. We're building that cadence. Let's see where you're taking this. Really cool cutting up. Woo! Okay, we get our first dropping of the beat, which is very, very, very much, it's really cool. But we are still using that secondary rhythm that we had before to... Yeah, no, and the sound we got right before the dropping of the beat, the sound of a gun loading, and... Yeah, no, it's just really... That was just really cool. A really, really cool... And just fun. Again, when it comes to music, you want a balance between what is familiar and what is new. That means you are going to want to revisit material, and when you introduce new material, you want some sort of relation with the old material. However, when you are doing something like dropping the beat, a solo or a breakdown in the sense of metal, that all goes out the window. And using familiar material becomes almost completely optional. And right now, how are we using the familiar material? We're using that secondary rhythm with that second synth, the secondary synth that used to give us the response to a bunch of calls. And yeah, it's just fun. It's just fun. Let's see where it goes. I love the samples of the gun. I love the gun samples. That I find that humorous whenever I hear that in an electronic music track. I just always find it humorous. I just always find it funny. And we had the sound of the casing dropping, reloading the gun, that kind of thing. It just sounds fun. And the cool thing here is that even though we are still using that secondary synth, we are also focusing on the rhythmic on the whole rhythm of the drop. And yet everything still feels very familiar to before, just with a drop. That's the magic of drops, dude, in electronic music. And that's one of those things that electronic music has. And I'm pretty sure other genres will have in their ends. But yeah, it's like the old card noises in hair metal, 100%. 100%. Yes, there you go, Megumi. For those of you who don't know, hair metal is the funniest era of heavy metal. And it has some of the most incredible songs out there. So, yeah, and they used to have, like, car noises, train noises, airplane noises, that kind of thing. So, yeah, that's a very good parallel. That's a good observation. Let's see where it goes. The bassline. The bassline. I knew there was something familiar about the bass. The bassline is a variation of the motif. The bassline is a variation of the very original motif. It's just elongated. And with all the cuts, the chopping that electronic music has. So, the concept of elongation. Elongation is a way of developing motifs, and motifs are, as I said, it's your musical ideas. Elongation is when you stretch a musical idea and you make it take longer proportionately, right? So let's say a musical idea that takes 1.5 seconds to complete, you elongate it so that now instead of taking 1.5 seconds, now it takes 5, and proportionately it's that, right? And we're having, on essence, that, but because electronic music and because of the dropping of the beat, we are cutting that, we're chopping that up. Because, electronic music is one of the very few genres where you can actually interrupt the music itself with itself, and it works. And that's what we're getting. That's why it was tricky to hear at first, because it is a very similar version of the motif. It's a small variation, like some of the notes are not the exact same, but the overall shape of the melody, pretty good. It's pretty much the same, but because now it's on the bass, and the focus is now on the second synth. Yeah. Let's see where it goes. Ooh. All right, and off the ramp we go. So going off the ramp, that is a colloquial term that I use. Colloquial just means that there's either no academic term for this, or I'm using this for the sake of simplicity to make it easier to understand. A going off the ramp moment is a section of music that helps you transition from one section to another in a way that the listener feels suspended up in the air, mercy of inertia, waiting to see where we land, kind of thing. How do you do that? Remove the drums. Maybe the bass as well. That's exactly what happened now. We've replaced that. We are now bringing what I think is a variation of the motif in a higher synth now. We went from having the motif in the bass to now having the motif all the way upwards, where in music, when it comes to music, we have something called form, right? Form is a structure. And structure for instrumental pieces, such as this one, or instrumental tracks, is going to be, divided into letters. So we had section A, which I am going to include we had an intro. Then we have section A, which I'm going to count that as the first, up all the way up to just now. Now we're having section B. And why am I doing that? Because A, despite having the drop, it still used the same motifs that we heard during the first part. Now, B, this is a contrasting section. So what I think is happening from the split second I heard is, one, we, of course, removed the drums. We're going to change that a little bit. But most importantly, we have, I think, engaged in an inversion of the motif. So what is an inversion of a motif? You take a motif, whatever shape you have for it, let's say this is the shape of your motif. You take that and you flip it upside down. And that is inversion. And I think we did that. And another way of flipping the script to make the second section more contrasting, we took it from the bass all the way to the higher melodies. And yeah, because at the end of the day, your section B needs to be a contrasting section to section A in order to be efficient or powerful enough. But again, you always need that balance between what is new and what is familiar. Too much new, too much familiar, too much repetition, you risk boring the listener, they tune out. Too much new, too quickly, you risk overwhelming the listener, they tune out. So how do you come up with a section B that has contrasting material without completely just rebuilding the track from the ground up? You do things like inversions, retrogrades is another one. So a retrograde is basically rearranging it so that it's backwards, like a mirror image of the thing. Like inversion, retrograde, that's more of, those are like concepts from the 12-tone matrix, but they apply. And it just works in this sense. So, very, very, very good so far. Let's see where it goes. Yeah, I think it is a variation of the motif. I don't think it's inverted. But now we are bringing a very different set of synths. We're going for a more retro style of synths rather than the more neutral 2010s doing their thing. Let me just hear what else we got. Oh, nice! I like the melody that came out of this new motif. Because it's not a new motif, it's a variation of the other motif, but instead of doing an ostinato, we are actually developing it even further. I think it has some part of it is a little bit inverted, and then we are just developing the rest, going in, taking the overall shape of it, and just coming up with new shapes with it. That's usually how you develop a melody. And most importantly, the melody is now harmonized. So, harmonization is something that you can do in a counterpoint. Counterpoint being melodies, the study of melodies, how melodies work, how they interact with each other, how they develop, all that kind of stuff, right? And harmonization is when you take the concept of harmony and you apply it to melody. Because again, when you are making music, you have three components: melody, harmony, rhythm. Melody is the individual horizontal line of any one instrument. Harmony is the vertical chunks, and rhythm is time. How long, when, how fast, that kind of thing. So when you take harmonization is when you take a melody and you apply a harmony concept to it. Harmony, the vertical chunks, those are your chords. So how do you do this? In counterpoint, you have three main ways of doing this, which all are done with what is called motion. Because, you know, the melody is going to move forward one way or another unless you stop the melody. So there are three types of motion. You have parallel, similar, and contrary. Those are the three main types of motion that you have. So parallel motion is when when you have two melodies and both of them are doing the exact same thing, just in a different point of the scale, which is what is happening right now. Similar motion is when you have one melody doing one thing, both of them heading roughly in the same direction, but the other one having a bit more complicated, or it could be that both of them are a little bit complicated, but they are just overall going in the similar direction. And then contrary motion, one melody is going one way, the other one is going the other, and that's it. They're going in contrary, opposite motion of all of this stuff. So right now we are engaging in parallel motion with the melody. We have achieved we're using what is called thirds, which is just, it's harmonizing, it's a second melody, and it's just very, very nice. And yeah, we're getting some frame drops. Okay, I'm going to continue. I am going to continue regardless, because Otherwise, things happen. So, we are having this, it looks like it's behaving now. So, we are having this harmonization going on, and it is just very lovely. Yeah, it looks like we lost like 1,000 frames, but we're good. So, yeah, let's continue. And I like how the drums are now a little bit more like disco-esque. It's very nice. It's very nice. It's very lovely. It's a lot more jolly in that sense, like a lot more party-esque. And I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it. Let's see where it goes. Oh, there we go. Okay, so now we bring back some of that bass and that second synth back to the first, back to this part, doing a recapitulation zone there. Thank you for the follow. Welcome to the Mosh Pit. How you doing? Welcome today. And we are building up for another drop. Because once again, when you're making music, you are doing one of two things. You are building tension or you are resolving that tension. This point in between we call cadence. So, cadence, yeah, is just the point that resolves tension. And right now we are building that tension. And the good thing is in electronic music, that tends to be a fairly just straightforward thing. You just need to have a synth that slowly goes up in frequency and scale, and it just builds up more and more and more and more until you drop the beat. So, Goofy, welcome today. How you doing? So let's see. There we go. We're building it, and you can hear that synth still going up and up and up and up. And we basically just do it again. We basically just do the same thing, but this time because we had the contrasting sections, the contrasting just motion of this whole thing, now that we were in section B, this drop still feels fresh. So it is, yeah, it's just well done, well played. Let's hear how this, and we're already calling back. We're reusing a bunch of the materials before. Again, this is the last minute of the piece, which usually when you're on the final minute, that's the climax. That's where you want your climax of your piece or your song, and you want to revisit as much material as you want, so that you can give yourself this moment of just grandioseness. Let's just see where it goes. Oh, that was a good triplet. Oh. And I really like how we're just going from straight rhythms to tripleted rhythms. You can see here how this one is a little bit faster in pace, but not too fast. Those are because of the triplets, and it's just fun. And I love that we're still using that, which was once the secondary synth, is giving us that main melody while the main motif is still staying in the bass. That is just clever. That is just clever. Let's see where it goes. Let's see where it goes. And again, yeah. Nice. We're hearing that synth going up again. And here is the main motif again. We brought the main motif back with a little bit of variation. So yeah, we're doing a callback. We are doing a recapitulation to the intro, to the first side, and it works. It works. Let's just see how we got 20 seconds left. Let's see how it ends. Yeah, a good way of putting the outro. Just use some of the material from the intro. There's the sample again. And are we gonna get it for the end? How are you gonna end this? Yeah, you had to. You built it up so that you would end it with the sound of the gun again. That was fun. That was fun. And yeah, there you go. A good way of ending this. You end this the way you've been building up the theme. It is a good it's a good thing to stay in. Is to stay on theme. You introduce the sound of guns. You use the sound of guns. Make use of it. And the good thing is that Dex didn't overuse it. Like, it's used, what, like 3 times across I would say 3, maybe 4 times across the whole 3.5 minutes, which is pretty good. Which is pretty good because one of the traps that many people fall onto is that they end up overusing some of this stuff, and it can really end up being detrimental to your music. But Dex found a good balance over here, and I liked it. It was a good way, especially because you were starting to loop what was kind of like the intro, and now you could just end the loop with the sample, and it makes sense, and it adds up, and it works as its own cadence. So there you go. There you go. Once again, everybody, that was Frontlines by Dex Arson. My understanding is that this is featured in Geometry Dash. Once again, everybody, this has been a Basterd's LFA, a layman-friendly analysis. I'm a professionally trained musician, a composer, and my objective here has been to explain things in a way so that you don't have to be one to understand what's happened here musically. So, if you're watching this on the YouTube video archive thing, thank you for watching. Make sure you're following the channel, subscribe to the channel, whatever term you want to use. Like the video, share the video, leave a comment, turn on notifications, become a member with one of them paid subscriptions. Support this channel as much as you want, but not at your own expense. If you want to listen to this without me interrupting every 3 seconds, I will be linking it down below. If you want to request a song and you're not on the stream, if you're on the stream, do not request yet. And if you're not on the stream, go to the Discord, linked down below. Go to the LFA requests channel and follow the instructions on the pinned messages. And if you want to catch the streams when they go live, we aim for Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Central European Time. If you want to know what time that is for you, or you want to see the full schedule, link down below in the Discord and the Twitch. They both have the stream schedule showing in your local time zone, the full schedule. And follow the gaming channel. We have a gaming channel where we put the VODs of our gaming sessions, after shows when they happen. Games are Basterd. Link down below, or just search for it. Same username as James R. Basterd. You swap the J for a G, and you got it. And yeah, there you go. Frontlines by Dex Arson. That was really fun. But Dex Arson. I don't know why I said Anderson. Mr. Anderson. I'm thinking of The Matrix. Anyway, good stuff, man. Good stuff. But yeah, let's move on.